All right, today we're going to pull back the curtain on the internet itself. We're breaking down the fundamental blueprint that makes our entire digital world tick, the secret recipe that lets everything, everywhere, connect almost instantly.
I mean, really think about that for a second. You hit send, and boom. In a blink of an eye, your message has zipped across continents, navigated through who knows how many different devices, and landed perfectly in someone's inbox. How on earth is that even possible? Well, it's not magic, but it is an incredibly organized system. Think of it like a universal rule book that every single device out there, your phone, your laptop, those giant data centers, they all have to follow it so they can speak the same language.
And that rulebook, it's called the Open Systems Interconnection Model, or just the OSI model for short. It's a framework that goes all the way back to 1984, and it is so fundamental that it's still the reason a Dell computer in one country can talk to an Apple server in another without any issues. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to follow one of those packages, a single piece of data, as it makes its way up through these 7 floors, starting right down on the ground level.
And how are we going to remember these 7 layers? With a classic, kind of goofy mnemonic that works from the bottom up. Please do not throw sausage pizza away. The first letter of each word is going to be our guide for this journey. All right, let's start on that ground floor. Please stands for layer 1, the physical layer. This is the absolute bedrock of the whole system, the nuts and bolts. This layer is all about the stuff you can actually touch, the cables, the fiber optics, the radio waves for Wi-Fi. In our analogy, it's the mail trucks, the roads, the airplanes. This layer has no idea what it's carrying. Its only job is to move raw ones and zeros from point A to point B. Okay, heading up to the second floor, we've got the D and DO. That's the data link layer. Now things get a little more specific. This layer is like your local mail carrier, the one who knows every single house on the block. It uses a unique hardware ID called a MAC address to make sure a piece of data gets from your router to your specific laptop and not, your neighbor's. It also does a quick check to make sure the data wasn't scrambled on its short trip. So, local delivery is handled. But what about getting that email from Lahore all the way to London? For that, we need to go up to layer 3, the N in not, the network layer. This layer is the master logistician. It's the central post office. It takes your data packet, looks at its destination IP address, which is basically a global postal code, and then figures out the most efficient path across the entire internet to get it where it needs to go. This is really where that global connectivity magic happens. Our packet is on the move, but how do we make sure it actually arrives safely and in one piece? Well, that's the job of layer 4, the T in throw, the transport layer. Think of this as the quality control department. It takes big files, chops them up into smaller, numbered packets, and then, on the other end, it double-checks that they all arrived and puts them back in the right order. It uses protocols like TCP for things like email, where every single bit has to be perfect, or the much faster UDP for stuff like video streaming, where losing a single frame isn't the end of the world. All right, we're climbing higher in our post office. Next up is layer 5, which is the S in sausage, the session layer. This layer is the conversation manager. It's like a receptionist who sets up a phone call, keeps the line open while you're talking, and then cleanly hangs up when you're done. You know when you log into a website and can click through a bunch of pages without having to log in every single time? Yep, that's the session layer at work, just holding that connection open for you. We are almost at the top. We've made it to layer 6, the P in pizza, the presentation layer. This is the universal translator. So this layer's job is to make sure the data is actually in a usable format. It's the translator, but it's also the security guard. It handles encryption, scrambling the data using things like SSL so no one can snoop on it. That little padlock you see in your web browser, you can thank layer 6 for that. It also compresses data, shrinking files so they travel faster. And finally, we've reached the top floor, the penthouse. This is the layer we all interact with every single day. Layer 7, the application layer. That's the A from the last word in our mnemonic, away. This is the interface you actually see and use. It's your web browser, your email client, the app on your phone. In our postal analogy, this is you writing the letter and dropping it in the mailbox. It's where the data's journey begins on one end and where it's finally presented to the user on the other. Okay, let's do a super quick-fire recap. From the bottom up, physical moves the bits. Data link gets it to the right device locally. Network routes it across the world. Transport makes sure it arrives safely. Session manages the conversation. Presentation translates and secures it. An application is what you actually interact with. See, each layer has its own crucial job to do.
So after all that, you might be thinking, okay, that's a neat system, but why does this model, which is decades old, still matter so much today?
Well, it matters because it's the ultimate blueprint. It creates a universal language so different companies can build hardware and software that just works together. It makes troubleshooting 1,000 times easier for engineers. Is the internet down? Is the cable plugged in? Yes. Okay, it's not a layer 1 problem. It also allows for incredible innovation because someone can invent a new technology for one layer without having to redesign the entire internet. So the next time you send an email or stream a movie, you'll know. It's not magic, it's this beautiful 7-layer system working in perfect harmony. You basically have networking X-ray vision now. So the only question is, what invisible layer are you going to notice at work first?